Yo, what's fucking up, gamers? Happy Pride Month! Woohoo! Yeah, baby! Woo! Gay people are allowed to exist. Let's fucking go! Who's here? There are a lot of people here. Yo, what's up, Kojiro, Satoru, Stick, Jay, Yuri, Mango, Stalkus, Ryan, and Gabs, and Seagull, and hopefully I got everyone. Yeah, yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome. Hope you're doing well. We're doing the thing. We're doing the stuff and things. So, anyway, I fucking hate stream elements. All right. There's a 10% coupon on your throne. Yeah, I was gonna mention that. I think it gave it to me because I haven't logged on since I set it up for Christmas. So it's like, hey, here's an incentive to use our service again. So I think that's what happened. I'm doing good. There's a fire close to my hometown. You should, that doesn't sound good. You should probably do something about that. Or at least, like, be careful. I assume the fire isn't at your house, so I don't really know what I meant by do something about it. But yeah. So we have some announcements. It is Pride Month, and I am a member of the League of Letters. In fact, I encompass many of the letters, just the ones that are in the plus and not like right on the front page, as it were. So obviously I am going to do a lot of things for Pride Month to celebrate Pride Month. So we got some stuff. We already know about the throne. I opened up my throne. I put a bunch of the trans shark on there. Let me actually get it on screen so you can see it here while we're talking about it. Let me throne. And since I'm in incognito to view it without being logged in, it won't dox me. So I can just do this. So yeah, we have a throne set up. Like Yuri mentioned in the chat, there is at the top, you can see, get 10% off with this code. I'll go ahead and post that there as well. So if you buy me a shark within the next 19 hours, you, yo, what's up, Drill? Welcome. Hope you're doing well, gamer. What's poppin'? Yeah, so if you buy me a shark in the next 19 hours, it is actually 10% off, maybe. I don't know if that applies to these ones or not. It says certain gifts, select gifts, but I don't know. Hopefully it'll count. Anyway, here's what I did here. So you will see there is one big blahage, which is the one directly from IKEA. It's the big one. And then up to 999 of this other smaller blahage that they had like integrated with Throne. So one is crowdfunded, which means you don't have to buy it outright because it's a little bit more expensive. And then these are, it looks like $8 US each. And as I said, I will be donating half of the money that we get from these sharks to the Trevor Project, which brings us to our second thing, which I don't have visuals for because it's not set up yet. But RealCorp, the company, the very cool company, the best VTuber company, dare I say, and no, I'm not biased, is opening at some point a Tiltify that's going to be going on throughout the month of June, Pride Month. that will be going to the Trevor Project, which is how I will also donate my money, which means it'll go towards another thing, which we'll get to in a... Yuri? I see you! Yo, what's up, dead man? Oh, that takes you to the throne. I wanted to see if you put a message. Those are previous gifts. God damn it. Did you put a message? I can't read it. If you did. Whatever, I'll look later. But I fucking see you. Shoutouts to 8% funded. What's up, Cheese? Welcome, welcome. And Deadman. What's good, everyone? Welcome, welcome. I did put a message. Why can I not see it? Oh, it's because I'm not logged in. That's why. Yo, what's up, Amanda? Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Anyway, yeah. So the Trevor Project, which is a really cool pro LGBTQ plus charity that I like a lot, and a lot of gay people like a lot. So we will have that Tiltify up, and I'll be tweeting out about it the moment it goes up in case y'all want to donate directly to that as well. I don't know why that timer is so much faster than all the other ones, but Stream Elements really wants you to know that you can buy me the gay shark. But yeah, so that's going up. Now, I mentioned incentives and money going towards them, kind of, but not really. So let me make sure I have the calendar correct. Yes. So on June 24th, because I am ridiculous, I'm going to be doing a 24-hour stream. I am, as we all know, the queen, the monarch, the empress of endurance streaming. But I've never done a 24-hour. I think my longest was like 15. But on the 24th, I am doing 24 hours of burb. And the way it's going to work is it is a donathon. And I don't know what the incentives are yet, because I only just came up with this idea earlier today. I wasn't even planning on doing this until I'm like, wait a minute, what if I did this? Anyway, ignore that. This was planned for a long time. I'm gonna do a 24-hour stream, and there are gonna be incentives that you can meet. Yo, what's up, Lily? What's good? What's poppin'? Welcome, welcome. I got bit by my cat today. Oh no. Hope you're okay. Should recover. Most cats don't really like... they don't really damage their owners, I don't think. I've been damaged by a cat before, though. Maybe I'll tell that story later when I'm just, like, talking. Anyway, before I continue getting distracted, I don't know what the incentives are yet, but they're not just going on starting in the 24-hour stream, and it's based on how much money the Tiltify campaign gets, because I'm not doing a donathon for myself. I'm doing a donathon for the thing, because it's Pride Month, and that's more important, that we donate to things that are good for people who are proud of being based and cute. So I'll figure out what those are. The more money the thing gets, the more stupid bullshit I'm probably gonna have to do. But I just don't know what that stupid bullshit is yet. So we're doing that at some point. And then I'll do all of them on the day of the 24-hour stream. And obviously it will also be a 24-hour stream. So yeah. Those are the big things. Those are like the big announcements. Oh yeah, that's also why I said that the shark purchases will go towards that as well. Because I will get the gay shark, and I will be donating half of the money that goes towards gay sharks to the Tiltify. So, yeah. So true, Jay. Could not have said it better myself. The Trevor Project works with at-risk LGBTQ plus young adults and children to help provide resources for both mental health and physical health. Remember, even if you can't dono, just watching the stream and hitting the like button on it will help a lot. Very true, very true. Even just like showing up to the stream will be really helpful. So like, mark it on your calendar, June 24th. It's easy to remember because it's a 24-hour stream on Saturday the 24th. Also have to figure out what time it's starting. Also, what's up, Yorichi? Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well, gamer. Yeah, so that's like the big stuff. But there is one more thing. As you may or may not know, I am taking a burb break again for over a week. Unfortunately, I got roped into burb fam things, and I can't get out of it. I really would have liked to, because I'd like to stream as much as possible during Pride Month, but it's fine, because I'm going to be streaming a lot in the second half. I am going to be trying to release some uploaded content again. Obviously, because I'm not just going to leave my channel dead for... It really likes that shark message. I'm going to need to fix that. Give me a sec. That's like way too often. Like it's borderline spamming. So, hold on. Timers. 10, 30, 30, 30, 25. Oh yeah, that's why. Okay. Let's go with that. Cool. Yo, what's up, Absurdist Scribbler? Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well, gamer. Okay, that should be better. Now it'll be every 20 minutes instead of 5. Jesus Christ. Anyway, as I was saying, I was going to upload content, so it's going to be more ASMR because I want to get into doing that anyway, and it makes sense to upload it when I'm not going to be streaming. But another video that I'm going to write up and do during my free time this weekend before I go is I'm planning on making a video going over, like, my gender journey, how I discovered that I had the gender TM. And I've never really, like, wrote it out even or talked about it, I don't think, much beyond, like, oh yeah, I wore a dress once and now I'm no gender, haha, because I don't believe in them. It's a little more nuanced than that, so I think it would be a good thing. It might help people realize some things about themselves and be like, hey, I'm not the only one that's like this. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get that video out and scheduled for while I'm gone and mix that in with the other stuff that I'm planning on doing. So that'll also be coming out. And even if it doesn't happen then, oh haha, coming out by the way, because it's Pride Month. Yeah, even if it doesn't come out during the break, I'm still planning on making it because I think it would be a helpful, cool thing to do for myself and for y'all. So yeah, that's the last announcement, I think. I hope I'm not forgetting anything. Yuri, am I forgetting anything? Are we doing anything else? Am I stupid? I don't think so. Okay, cool. All right. Sick. All right, well, we did the thing. We did the thing that the stream was about, and it's only been 20 minutes. Ooh. You ever just burp? I do. So, yeah. The rest of what we're gonna do, because another idea that I had today was a Pride-themed drinking game. If you are of legal age in your place of residence, feel free to join me. If you are not of legal age, you can do it with like soda or like water. Why you always drinky? Like, damn. I'm not always drinky. Okay, so the way this is gonna work, let me find like a good comprehensive list of like lists of ways that people identify, and then I will... Oh, here we go. Glossary of terms. This might be good. Oh, this is like every term. This isn't like identities. Okay, here's one from the New York Times. I don't think I trust it, though. I don't like the New York... Yo, Drill! Welcome to the members! I appreciate you, gamer. Welcome, welcome. Enjoy the emotes. Enjoy the... Yes, you do! I fucking love that alert sound. I don't think it actually played because I have my desktop audio muted, but I heard it and it made me chuckle a little bit. Yeah, enjoy the emotes, enjoy the karaoke practice streams if you decide to join. Yeah. Okay. This seems mostly fine. It's missing some that I want to be on there, though, so I don't like this one. Blahaj at 21%, what the fuck? Y'all are crazy. Actually, we were talking about it earlier in the behind-the-scenes Discord, but... I lost my train of thought. We were talking about a what-if scenario that I get so many sharks from this campaign that, like, I end up not having any room to actually live in. And then I had, like, an alternative scenario where they don't all ship at the same time, and as far as I know, my nest only has one delivery driver. So imagine that same delivery driver like multiple days in a row being like, hey, you got another shark. It's fucking like day 100 of delivering the same shark to the same idiot. He's like, oh god, not this shit again. Yo, Valia, welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well, gamer. Happy Pride Month. Woohoo! Yeah. Oh, and now it does the fucking merch shit. Yeah, today's also the last day to buy Burb merch. Okay, let's try identities. Glossary. Does this one have the thing I'm looking for? It does. Okay, we're going with this one. Okay, we finally got to what we're looking for. So the way this is gonna work is I have here a list of LGBTQ plus identities, and we're just gonna go down the list and talk about them, and if it applies to you, take a shot. You don't have to out yourself if you don't want to. You can do it quietly. Obviously, we're not here to force anyone to reveal things about themselves. That would be bad. But I thought it would be a funny idea, and also it's the first day of Pride Month, and I want to celebrate that by drinky. So that's how the game's gonna work. So with that being said, let me go get my drinky stuff ready, and then we'll go ahead and do this. BRB. Yo, what's up, Soul? Welcome, welcome. You're just in time for the drinking game if you want to participate. I'm doing well. Gamer, what's poppin'? Hope you're doing good. Alright, so I have my shot glass. Let me... You could hear one of them. Maybe if I like... There we go. There's some shot glass ASMR for you. Now some real ASMR. I also have for Chase a passion fruit sour. Hopefully that was crisp. I think my new mic settings might have also filtered that out. And then I have... This one should be audible. It is not. Anyway, I have a big-ass bottle of vanilla vodka. Not vanilla, whipped cream vodka. Which I know I've talked about this before, my emergency bottle of whipped cream vodka that I keep at my desk. So, yeah. If you're an ally, you get a free shot. Yeah, everyone who's participating better take at least one shot. Because if you ain't an ally, I don't know what to tell you, Chief. You watching the wrong VTuber, bro. My friends asked me if I want to do Smash or pass Pokemon. I said, who needs Pokemon when Ezra Andromeda is #1 catch in my bucket list? Let's fucking go. Alright. Gonna try working 9 minutes. I have to cut this short. No worries. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate you. Your fellow enby handshake for Pride Month. Fuck yeah. Shoutouts to Val. Cool individual. Alright. So for those who may just be getting in and miss the rules, we have a list here of LGBTQ plus identities and terms. We're going to read the description on them, maybe talk about them a little bit. So like if they apply to you or you experience it or anything like that, you take a shot or a drink of whatever you're drinking. Does not have to be alcohol. If you are not allowed to drink alcohol in your place of residence, don't. That would be bad. But otherwise, just be responsible and know your limits. Now that I've covered my ass from any potential problems, yeah. Let's get into it. So we start with AFAB, assigned female at birth, which means when you were born, based on your physical traits, the doctors, who don't know shit about fuck because they are archaic and bad, except for when they're good. Seeing doctors is important for other things, but they got gender wrong for a very long time. If you were born and told you are girl, this is you. Give everyone a minute. All right. Now, the next term is ally. An ally basically means you are not only cool with LGBTQ plus people, it also means that you are willing to protect their rights. And if that ain't you, if you don't want us to have rights, you can get the fuck out of my stream, you goddamn asshole. So everyone takes a shot for this one. This is the free space that Yuri was talking about. Pouring mine out now. And woo! All right, one shot down. All right. Next up, AMAP, assigned male at birth. You were born, they said you are boy. Whether they were correct or incorrect, take a shot if that is you. I talk about my girl cock frequently, so it should be pretty obvious that I poured out another shot. Let's go. Chat disconnected. Did they take my stream offline? They might have taken my stream offline. They didn't. Are we still here? Okay, we're good. It was just doing that thing. Okay, sick. We're good. Alright. Well, we are 2 shots in. I'm realizing that there's 2 more in my near future. So I'm gonna be 4 shots in before we even get out of A. I might have to do half shots. Oh god. Okay. Agender, gender identity. Without gender. Often used as an identification for people who do not identify with or conform to any gender. For all intents and purposes, I would say that this is me. So I think I'm definitely gonna reduce it to half and go from there because I don't want to die. But if that's you, feel free to drink, feel free to do what I'm doing and just take a full shot after the next one because the next one also applies to you because it applies to me. 2 shots in right now. Everyone should be if they're participating because everyone was most likely assigned one or the other and y'all better be allies. So, I mean, yeah, starting off strong. All right. Androgynous. A display that integrates a combination of masculine and feminine elements. For some, androgyny is about achieving a gender-neutral expression, whereas others may wish to acknowledge their relationship to masculinity and femininity. That's me. That's what I try to be in real life. Obviously, I don't, like, change my voice or anything. That's, like, the one thing I don't really care to change. I like my, like, smooth, deep voice that I got going on. And then, obviously, like, my model, too. Y'all don't know what I look like IRL, and for most of y'all, that's probably gonna stay the same. But, you know. I look mostly like Ezra, to be honest. Anyway. Those both apply to me, which means I'm taking a 3rd shot now, because as I said, I've pulled back to half. At least until we're, like, halfway through the list, because I don't want to die. So, taking the shot now. Alright. Asexual. Someone who does not experience sexual attraction towards other people and who identifies as asexual. May still have romantic, emotional, affectional, or relational attractions to other people. Asexuality is distinct from celibacy, which is the deliberate abstention is the word, from sexual activity. While not experiencing sexual attraction, some asexual people may still choose to have sex for other reasons, including physical enjoyment or desire to have children, sometimes shortened as ace. Ace people are cool and valid. I'm not. I want everyone, but y'all are still cool. Alright. Bigender. Having 2 genders. A combination of man, woman, and or other gender identities. Again, this applies to me. I actually think I'm only going to do half shots, the way I'm going to do this. I'm going to do half shots if it has anything to do with, like, me having no gender or multiple genders, because they're all going to apply to me. So those will be a half shot for me. So that's a half shot for me. Does demon count as gender? Yeah, why not? Let's go. Biphobia. Fear, aversion, or hatred of people who are bisexual, pansexual, omnisexual, or otherwise attracted to multiple genders. You better not be biphobic. If anyone took a shot here, leave. Unless you're changing the rules to be like you've experienced it, in which case, by all means. But yeah. Fuck biphobia, fuck biphobes. If you're hateful, leave. Biromantic, a person who has a romantic attraction to two or multiple genders. Hello! I made a tweet earlier saying I'm gonna date everyone. That includes everyone, so here we fucking go. This is gonna be a full. This is gonna be a full one. I'm also gonna lump biromantic and bisexual together. I realize they're different. We'll talk about it, but I'm just gonna do one shot for both of those. Imagine being attracted to only one gender. Yeah, kind of a skill issue, to be honest. Alright, bisexual, a person who is sexually attracted to multiple genders or who identifies as a member of the bisexual community, often but not limited to being attracted to the same gender and other genders, may be shortened to bi. So this one brings up an interesting topic that's probably going to be a recurring theme through the list here. There is a difference between being romantically attracted to people and being sexually attracted to them. They can come together, they can come separately. Some people experience one and not the other, and all of that is equally valid. And if you disagree, leave. Simply leave. We don't hate anyone here. Thank you. Unless you're hateful, then we might. But yeah, there you go. That's my little soapbox on that one. Chosen name. A name selected by an individual that differs from the name they were given at birth. These are cool. I have one. Obviously. I chose the name of my VTuber. Fucking ow. Okay, taking a shot. What am I 6 now? Am I at 6? How much longer is this list? Yeah, I think I'm at 6. Okay. But I also glanced through some of them, and a lot of the ones later don't apply to me, so I think I'm fine. Is this a glossary? Yo, what's up, Drek? Yeah, something like that. Alright, pouring one out. We are doing a drinking game. Every term that applies to you, take a shot or a drink, depending on how you want to play. I'm doing shots, personally, because I'm ready to fucking celebrate Pride Month. Alright, here we go. Alright. Cisgender. This is basically just you identify as the gender you were assigned at birth. So going back to the top, the AFABs and the AMABs, if they said, you are girl, or they said, you are boy, and you're like, yeah, you're right, I am. Well, that's you. You have a term. Cissexism, a belief that there are only two genders which are assigned at birth and immutable. Basically, if you believe that there are only two genders and that you do not get to decide your own gender, you're an asshole, because gender is fake and made up, and therefore anyone can be what they want to be and identify how they want to identify. So yeah, there you go. Closeted. Used as slang for the state of not publicizing one's sexual or gender identity. Basically, this is like, you're not public with your, you're not public with your identity, be that your sexual orientation or your gender identity or anything like that. I am not. It's kind of nuanced because I'm not really like, I've come out to some people, obviously, like online as the Ezra persona. I'm very like loud and vocal about who I am. And even in my private life, like most of my friends, like I would say 90% of the people in my life know. But like Burb fam and the like, they don't know shit and they're never going to know shit. And I have no intention of telling them shit. So I feel like for all intents and purposes, I have come out of the closet. Male isn't something you identify with. That would be man or woman, gender terms, not sex terms. I mean, you can identify that way. It's ultimately up to you how you want to. You know, if they tell you at birth, hey, you have a wing wang, therefore you are man. And you're like, well, yeah, I suppose I am man. Well, then you are man. But if you decide otherwise, you are equally as valid. As long as you're not hateful about it one way or the other, it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. At least the way I view it. Alright, cross-dresser. Individual who dresses in clothing usually associated with a sex that differs from the one assigned at birth. Cross-dressing is, this is important, cross-dressing is not indicative of sexual orientation or gender identity. This term replaces the sometimes pejorative term, you can read if you'd like, I don't want to say it out loud because I don't like using words that people have used to hate. Anyway. Yeah, so that's that one. I'm gonna lump this into the other half shot I didn't take earlier because cross-dressing is sort of how I did figure out my female not equal woman. I mean, you're on the right track. I mean, you've mostly got it right. The terminology isn't super important. It's more the concept of gender not being tied to biology, because it's not. Anyway, I'm gonna lump this in with my other half shot because that's sort of how I figured out that I did have a case of the gender. We'll explore that more in the video I make, but yeah. Anyway, I gotta take another shot because I was saving a half shot for the next time this happened. Also, the rules are very, like, not fixed because I'm also, like, aware of my limits and need to make sure I don't fucking die. So, at least not before I end stream. Alright. Alright. Dead name. A term used for the former name of a transgender, non-binary, or gender non-conforming person who has changed their name to affirm their gender identity. So we talked about chosen name earlier. Dead name is another thing I like to call it my government name. And I'm not gonna drink for it because while I do have one and therefore it technically applies to me, for all intents and purposes, it also doesn't exist. So, maybe I'm cheating a little bit, but I'm not gonna count dead name against myself here. So that's my logic. Alright, moving on. Demisexual, a person who may only experience sexual attraction after a strong emotional attachment is formed, may be seen as falling on the asexual spectrum. I am not this, but if you are this, That is really cool, and I hope you find someone that is also really cool. All right, drag. This has been in the news a lot lately. A public performance that involves playing with gender norms and expectations. Performers are often referred to as drag queens and kings whose performances and costumes often exaggerate and play with gender. Drag is really cool. I enjoy drag shows on the off chance I actually get to go to one. And while you could make the argument that me being... Yo, what's up, Frosty? Welcome, welcome. Happy Pride Month. Woohoo! While you could technically argue that me being a VTuber with a case of the gender is drag, I don't necessarily agree. Because like I've said, my presentation as my model is actually scarily close to how I present and how I look in real life. So, yeah. But hey, if you do drag, first of all, I'm proud of you, and that's awesome. Second, if you're ever doing any shows, let me know. Alright, next up, femme. A term referring to the broad dynamic representations of femininity, feminine characteristics, regardless of gender. Femmes claim a relationship to femininity without necessarily claiming a relationship to womanhood. You think demisexual isn't a fixed thing? You won't be immediately sexually attracted to everyone you date at the start, or rather you won't get off with them at home right off the bat. Very true. It by my understanding, takes a lot of time. Like, it's not just, oh, I know this person, now I'm attracted to them. It's a little bit more nuanced than that, and there's like a wide spectrum of different things within that one term. It's very cool. I think my favorite thing about being part of the League of Letters, as I like to call it, because it's funny as fuck, is just the idea that, like, you're able to explore things about yourself and how you want to be perceived and how you view yourself. And, like, not only can it change over time, but, like, the way you identify and the way that you are is so uniquely you. It's very cool. It's very awesome. FTM, female to male transgender person. So you are AFAB and you are a man. You are male. That is F to M. I don't consider myself that, obviously, but you may. Shots, are you drinking? Alright, Frosty, actually, you just got here, so I guess let me catch you up on what we're doing. Also, for the record, because I tend to use feminine descriptions and words for myself more often, I'm gonna count that as a half shot, so I'm holding that. But we are doing a Pride-themed drinking game. So I'm going through this list of Pride-related terms, and if you're participating, which you don't have to, you take a drink or a shot every time one of them applies to you. We're about halfway through the list, I believe. Gay man. A man who is emotionally, romantically, sexually, affectionately, or relationally attracted to other men, or who identifies as a member of the gay community. This means you identify as male, and you like men. Pretty straightforward. If you are that, you may drink. If you are not, you may still drink, because I can't force you to not. I can't really force you to do anything now, can I? That would be bad and wrong. Alright, going on. Gender. A socially constructed system of classification that describes qualities of femininity and masculinity to people. The attributes of gender can change over time and differ between cultures. Terms for gender identity include but are not limited to woman, man, non-binary, genderqueer, and agender. This is a fun one, because I keep saying, like, oh, it is socially constructed, like, it's not real. And that in itself is kind of a broad generalization. Because the thing about gender as a concept is that if you go too far either way, in terms of how you think about it, it kind of misses the mark a little bit. Because on one hand, the people who believe that your gender is what you're born as and it can't change and blah 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 are dumb. On the other hand, if you simply reduce the concept of gender to it isn't real, you also invalidate everyone who has like a specific gender identity, because that is equally valid and real. So it's more accurate, I guess, to say the gender is a way that you identify, like a way that you want to be perceived. And sure, it's based on societal norms that don't really exist, but I'd argue it's a lot less of like a fake thing and more of like a reclaiming thing. I think is sort of the way I view it. Yo, what's up, Sheepy? Didn't realize I was walking into a TED Talk. Yo, what's poppin'? We're in the middle of a drinking game. What's good, gamer? So the way this works is if any of the things on this list apply to you, drink. That's what we're doing. I do think it's a very like natural thing that people want to have labels for themselves because it gives them more of like a sense of self and it's comforting. And that's really cool. And I think that's more what gender's about than it just being like just a social thing that isn't real. It's just more of like a subconscious thing, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I'm adding that to... I don't know if I have a half shot right now. I don't think I do. Oh yeah, I added a half shot for femme, so I think that means I have to take a shot. Because technically speaking, I've collected a lot of genders over the years. But on the other side, I don't really care about what my gender is, so like... yeah. Also, please don't die. I know you said you switched to water. I hope you're for real, because that's a lot of shots. Speaking of shots, let me pour mine. Alright, it is poured. Get ready for more burp ASMR, I think. Yep. There we go. There it was. Now I feel better. Alright. Gender affirmation surgery. To paraphrase, because this is a long description, this is basically just you would like to present with your physical body, with your like biology as a different what society deems to be a gender. You can do that. If you don't have a PP and you want a PP, you can do that. If you have a PP and you don't want it, you can also do that. Very cool the way science has advanced, and I'm very glad that this is a thing that is not only possible, but a thing that people do. Is very awesome. However, I've never done that, and I don't think I ever will. But to those who do, I am proud of you and support your decision. Because that is awesome. Did I tell you I'm yet another friend of Moebius? Yeah, I think you did. I think you did. If not, I kind of just figured it out, because y'all like to interact with each other, because y'all know each other, so yeah. Gender dysphoria. This is like... well, let me actually just read the thing for this, because despite being who I am, I'm not actually like an expert on this. The term gender dysphoria was used in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders 5th edition, DSM-5, a manual published by the American Psychiatric Association in 2013. I thought that was older. It was intended to focus on gender identity related distress that some transgender people may experience, pee-pee-poo-poo, rather than on transgender individuals or identities themselves. This is a thing that a lot of people use to say that trans people are mentally ill, which is not true. And as it states here, that's like not what it's meant to say in the slightest, because that's dumb. So it's a lot more, it's like the knowledge that you are a certain gender and that the way you're being forced to present is not in line with that, and it causes you discomfort. That is like the surface level what it is. Personally, I don't really feel like I experienced that, which is bizarre. And it's not to say that I've never been like uncomfortable about people using certain words with me. Like, I've started to sort of dislike when people are like, when people use he, him, or masculine things. Not to the point I'm uncomfortable though, it's just more of a like, man, I wish they, them was the default until you like knew. I wish that was like societally, like socially accepted at this point, because it really ought to be. It really, really ought to be. However, we follow that up with the polar opposite, the other side of the coin, gender euphoria. The joyful experience and sense of self when a person's authentic gender is expressed and acknowledged by themselves and or by others. So this is like someone uses the correct pronouns and you feel really good about it because you're like, you're right. I do go by those pronouns. That is so cool and awesome that you knew that and were respectful of it. Again, I don't really experience this one often, and that's sort of my fault too for being non-binary, because like, as I sort of touched on previously, gender euphoria is when yippee! Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I don't really experience this one very often because as a non-binary, it's not super socially accepted that like you should use neutral terms and pronouns for people right off. So like it just doesn't happen like at all to me. So basically transgenderness is a prerequisite for gender dysphoria, but it's not the only requirement. Yeah, I would argue that it really depends on how you like view gender non-conforming versus transgender. Because personally, I consider myself trans and non-binary and gender non-conforming, but there are some people that don't for themselves, and that's equally as valid and awesome. But like, I feel like it does definitely require not identifying the way you were assigned at birth. But at any event, this doesn't happen to me very often. The best I can say is that sometimes people see me, like my hair, the way I'm dressed, or the way I look, and they use she, her before I talk. And I'm like, yo, let's fucking go. They figured out I'm gender non-conforming. And then I speak, and they're like, oh, sorry, sir. And I'm like, okay, fuck off. So it doesn't last very long, but I kind of know the feeling, but it just doesn't happen very often to me, so I'm not going to count that one either. Gender expression. How one expresses their gender identity outwardly in terms of clothing, hair, tone of voice, etc. I almost want to say that this one doesn't count for me on account of I don't really have a gender that I consider myself to be. But at the same time, that is in and of itself kind of a gender expression. So I'm gonna halve it. So that's a half shot. And then I'm fucked because gender fluid is up next. A person whose gender expression and or gender identity varies from one gender to another or others in some way. That's kind of true. That's kind of true for me. So I'm adding that as another half, so I do have to take a shot. So the way I see it, the way I sort of experience gender is that most of the time I'm not even really thinking about it because it simply doesn't matter to me. But then when I have to think about like how to present myself and like how I talk about myself, it really depends on the day whether I'm going to use masculine, neutral, or feminine. And today is a feminine day. I've been using a lot of like queens and like she, her. So like it definitely does change by the day. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour myself out a shot because that is 2 half shots back to back. And try not to die. You ever just over pour a little bit? You ever just go to pour a shot and you're like, that's a bit too much? Today's a Goofy day. Yo, shoutouts to Goofy from the Mickey Mouse cinematic universe. And also from Kingdom Hearts. Alright, here we go. I watched my model as I did that, and you can definitely tell that I like swung back a shot. That was kind of cool. The rigging on this model is really awesome. I hope Yuri's still here because she worked on that. Based individual. What are you drinking? I am drinking whipped cream vodka and chasing it with a passion fruit sour. Okay, so we did gender fluid, so we were on gender flux. Person whose gender identity and or gender expression varies in intensity, but not necessarily across genders. This isn't me, because I don't ever lean intensely in one direction or the other. I just kind of am. Like, you know, maybe I'm a little bit more femme today, maybe I'm a little bit mask the other day, you know, but like... overall, it doesn't really matter to me. Like, it's just whatever. Just whatever I happen to do. Whipped cream vodka? Yeah, it's vodka that's whipped cream flavored. Good luck measuring something like gender intensity. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a hard thing to conceptualize, and I think part of that's just because I don't experience it. Which, thankfully, tells me I don't have to take another shot. So, here we are. Did I spill some? Yeah, I spilled some. Rip. Alright, next up. Gender non-conforming. No, gender identity is next. We were on gender flux. Gender identity. A person's internal sense of their own gender. Cisgender, transgender, man, woman, and genderqueer are all examples of gender identities. I mean, yeah. Once again, in a sense, I have one. By merit of existing. This is kind of another free space. But like, I don't know. I'm gonna say half shot and then move on. Gender non-conforming. Now we're here. A person who does not subscribe to gender expressions or roles expected of them by society. Yeah. I have to take a shot. Alright, give me a sec. Mostly feel numb about gender stuff, like the thought is there, but it's all fuzzy. Yeah, that's how I feel some days for sure. Alright, here we go. Time to die. I think this is number 10. Whoa. Alright. Genderqueer, a person whose gender identity and or gender expression falls outside of the masculine, feminine gender binary. Genderqueer is also considered part of the umbrella of non-binary identities. I'm gonna say none and just wait for non-binary, because to me they're functionally the same, although they may not be to you. So if you want to take a drink now, that's up to you. Alright. Happy Pride Month! Yo, what's up, Kimberly? Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Alright, heteronormativity. Processes through which social institutions and policies reinforce the notion that there are only two possibilities for sex, gender, and sexual attraction. Male masculine attracted to women, and female feminine attracted to men. This is bad and wrong. So nobody should be drinking. I'm staring directly at you. Heterosexism. Referring to men... Oh wait, no, I've skipped. Norms and behaviors that result from the assumption that all people are or should be heterosexual. So basically, an extension of the above. If you think that, you're wrong. By a long shot. Alright, heterosexual. Referring to men who are attracted to women or women who are attracted to men, often referred to as straight. If you're straight, you may take a shot. Everything I've said about other things, the like sexisms, the normativities, etc., that doesn't apply to being straight. If you're straight, you're straight. I mean, that's how you are. That's what you're attracted to. There's nothing wrong with that. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Like, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly normal. It's just that, like, viewing that as the default or better is dead wrong. It doesn't make it any less valid of a way to feel or identify. Let's just be clear. Same goes for cisgender. If you identify how you were assigned at birth, you're valid. That's awesome. So let's just be clear about that. Because sometimes people don't think that way. And sometimes people think that we think that way. And that is wrong. All my labels were at the start of the alphabet, so I'm just sitting here like man standing. I mean, do you have alcohol? You could always just like drink to catch up. The link's right there, you can just go to it. If you want to join, that is. Alright, homophobia. Fear of, hatred of, or discomfort with people who love and sexually desire members of the same gender. Homophobic reactions often lead to intolerance, bigotry, and violence against anyone not acting within the socio-cultural norms of heterosexuality. Don't be homophobic. Nobody should be drinking for this one. If you're homophobic, you're a bitch. Meet me at the Waffle House. I'm gonna kick your shit in. I probably wouldn't. I'm incredibly tiny and frail. I'm like a Victorian child. But don't be homophobic. All right. Maybe I'm a cis-straight male. I once felt attracted to a coworker who was a trans man, though I wonder if only felt that way because he was pre-op. I've heard that many times. And sometimes it ends with, oh, he went and got surgery, and I'm still attracted to him. And sometimes it ends with, oh, you know what? Maybe I was attracted to him because he was pre-op. And either way, you're valid. Because the body type you're attracted to is the body type you're attracted to. Or maybe it's the personality you're attracted to, in which case, you know, post-op, you probably are still attracted to them. I don't know. I don't pretend to be in other people's brains. But I feel like it's a valid thing to question because it's like, you know, you like what you like. You can't really control that if you're into someone or not, you know? As long as you respect their identity and their boundaries, really, at the end of the day, I don't think it matters all that much. Like, I definitely understand. But, yeah. Homosexual, the clinical term coined in the field of psychology for people with a same-sex sexual attraction. The word is often associated with the idea that same-sex attractions are a mental disorder and is therefore offensive to some people. I didn't actually know that. You can be emotionally attracted without being sexually attracted. Oh yeah, absolutely. I said earlier, I think before you got here, that the two are definitely very separate and like not always tied to each other, depending on like who you are, what your interests are. And, you know, it's equally valid to have one of either or both. So yeah. They are definitely two separate things though, and the distinction is important. But yeah, if you gay, you gay. I didn't actually know that people didn't like homosexual, but I guess that kind of makes sense, because it's like, I don't know, people have used like, oh yeah, these homos, rah, 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 as a pejorative before. And I don't like that very much either. So I guess I kind of get that. I just never thought of it that way. But yeah, interesting. I learned something. Hormone replacement therapy. The process by which trans individuals choose to take a prescription of artificial hormones in order to physically, medically affirm their gender. For trans women, that may include estrogen, as well as testosterone blockers. For trans men, testosterone or T. First of all, this doesn't apply to me because I'm not doing HRT. I don't know if I'll ever do HRT unless it's for like another reason that has nothing to do with gender. Because there are reasons to get HRT that aren't that. I've thought about it. It's not like it's out of the question, but I'm like, I don't know. I just don't think it matters to me because I don't feel strongly one way or the other. Though I suppose it would help me to look more androgynous, but I don't go outside enough anyway. And the side effects low-key scare me. And I don't want to have periods. Oh, stretch. But in any event, if you do take HRT, I'm very proud of you. And that is awesome, and I hope it's going well. I also, though, the other thing I wanted to say is that I'm very jealous of trans men, because part of the reason that, like, I don't want to do HRT is because of the side effects. And from what I understand, like, it's not like taking testosterone is, like, easy or painless. But, like, I believe you stop having periods at some point, although I'm not sure about that, so don't take me at my word. And also, you only take, like, the one shot a week, and that's it. Whereas estrogen is, like, a multiple times a day thing. So it's, like, also an easier process. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm sure there's plenty of other difficulties to go with it. Grass is always greener or whatever, but yeah. Is that a thing that happens? Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the trans women I know that have been on HRT for multiple years start having periods. I don't know if it's an across the board thing that happens to everyone, but it does happen. And they're always like, oh God, this is terrible. And it's always kind of funny to me because it's like, yeah, I suppose it is. Not that I've ever experienced that myself, obviously, but from what I understand, that's the thing. And it's unfortunate. And I don't want to experience it. Since you're non-binary, is there even a desired end goal for HRT? You don't want to completely become like the opposite sex. I do actually know one non-binary person. We're gonna get to this term later, but a little bit of a spoiler alert. I'm poly. My partner's wife is non-binary, and they take HRT because it helps them sort of remain androgynous. I think it's just like a matter of the doses. Like, I think if you take less of it, you'll get some of the effects, but not all of it. I imagine that's how it works. I haven't actually asked them, like, what the process was like, though. Because it is an interesting question. Where does the blood come from? It doesn't. The bleeding isn't the thing that causes the cramps. From my understanding of how it works, from, like, the health classes I took many years ago, it's sort of just a bunch of stuff that happens all at once. So, like, yeah, the blood comes out, but also, like, the cramps are independent of that. So for trans women, they just get the cramps. But the other stuff doesn't happen because it's not physically there. The body's like, this thing should be happening, so let's do the other stuff too. But since the thing isn't happening, it's just the other stuff. That's my understanding. Again, I have no experience on this, though. I've never done HRT. Okay, well, Burb, I'm late. No worries. There's no such thing as being late to Burb stream. I'm just happy you're here at all, gamer. Happy Pride Month! Woohoo! We are in the middle of a drinking game if you would like to join us. So we're going through a list of terms on this website, and if any of them apply to you, you drink. That is the rule. You don't have to join, though, obviously. Nobody's going to force you to do things. And also, you shouldn't join if you're not allowed to, like, if you're not of age. Or anything like that. Intersex. A term used for a variety of medical conditions in which a person is born with chromosomes, genitalia, and/or secondary sexual characteristics that are inconsistent with the typical definition of a male or female body. The term differences of sex development, DSD, also describes these conditions, replaces the inaccurate and usually offensive term, I won't say that word, but you can read it. Some intersex individuals may choose to identify as LGBTQIA as a result of their intersexuality, however, many choose not to. I have always wondered if this applied to me, because I was never like super athletic or super strong or anything like that AMABs are typically, like, I don't know, supposed to be or assumed to be by nature of how society is. Now, obviously, there's nothing wrong with that, and I've come to terms with the fact that, like, I'm just not that type of person. There's not to say I don't exercise. I do actually want to go back to, like, running and, like, lifting, because it feels good, and I need to lose weight for myself to better my own personal image of myself. But I'm not, like, super athletic. I'm not super into sports. That kind of thing doesn't come naturally to me. So I always sort of wondered if maybe I had, like, less T than a lot of other AMABs do, but I don't know. I don't care enough to actually find out, so I'm gonna say this one also does not apply to me. Lesbian. A non-man attracted to non-men. While past definitions referred to lesbian as a woman who is emotionally, romantically, and or sexually attracted to other women, this updated definition includes non-binary people who also may identify with the label. Now that's interesting because under that definition, I mean, that technically fits with me. I've never actually heard it that way. In fact, I've seen some online discourse that's like, oh yeah, lesbian is always like only women that like only women. And while I don't know if that's the case, I think it's also kind of bizarre personally that like men would get like the gay label and then women wouldn't be allowed to have the lesbian label. You know, it's like, okay, well, what makes men liking men special from women liking women? Why don't they get their own label? Now, the obvious solution, which a lot of people also go with, is just to call themselves gay. What I do. Whenever I want to lump sum everything about me together, I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm gay. I'm gay as fuck. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, so I'm just not going to touch it. I'm just going to present it and then not take a shot. So yeah, I don't know. Interpret that how you want to. I'm not even gonna bother taking a stance because frankly I don't identify as a lesbian anyway. Alright, scrolling down a little bit. LGBTQIA+, abbreviation for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, questioning, intersex, and asexual, an umbrella term that is used to refer to the community as a whole. Often shortened to LGBTQ+, but not as a means to exclude other identities. The plus acknowledges the diversity of identities, orientations, and expressions of the LGBTQIA+ community that are not named in the acronym. I mean, yeah, it's already kind of a mouthful. I almost wish they would have done LGBT+, not because I feel like the QIA need to be excluded, obviously, just saying LGBTQIA+ every time I want to talk about it is a lot of syllables. So, I don't know. In any event, that is the League of Letters, and I am a part of it. Also, I think Sheepy is still here. I don't know if she is or not. Maybe she's lurking. But Sheepy is actually the one who, there you are, introduced me to the term League of Letters. And every day I am thankful for it. Because it's so fucking funny. I just say queer at this point. Yeah, I've thought about doing that. I don't know. I don't feel as weird about that one as I do some of the other hateful terms, because I know that one's been, like, claimed. Or, like, reclaimed. So I know a lot of people use it, so I feel less bad about it. But at the same time, it's like, that was a word that was used to harm people for a very long time. So, I don't know. I don't like the idea of making it part of, like, my own vocabulary, but I feel like that's a good way to go about it. If you just want, like, a single word. Anyway, shot time. Woo! What was that, 11? Alright. Mask. Gender expression. Or gay was also redefined to a non-woman attracted to other non-women. Now that would be concise. That is actually an unironically really good solution. I kind of like it. Mask. A term referring to the broad dynamic representations of masculinity / masculine characteristics regardless of gender. Masks claim a relationship to masculinity without necessarily claiming a relationship to manhood. So I would definitely argue like tomboys fall under this, because like that's sort of like a mask representation. But similarly to my earlier soapbox about gender being incredibly confusing to define, with masculine and feminine being like a socially constructed thing that's kind of ephemeral, and to simplify a thing that's complicated, not real, ultimately presenting as femme or presenting as masc are kind of just whatever you want them to be, you know? So it doesn't necessarily mean one concrete thing as much as like, oh yeah, I'm presenting masculine today. Woo. And then you really don't need to explain yourself further, because that is what it is. You can have, cherish, and perform some masculine traits without identifying as a man. I think that's what it means. Yeah, pretty much. I'm mostly talking about what it means to be a man to begin with, because it's very, like, hazy. It's a very bizarre, hard thing to really put into words. I don't know, shit's weird. Society bad. I'm the Joker, baby. Woohoo! MSM. I've never seen this one before, but it makes sense. An abbreviation for men who have sex with men. The term emphasizes the behavior rather than the identities of the individuals involved. I've never seen this. However, I suppose if you're a man who boinks men, you may have a drink. You have my permission. You don't have to have my permission, but you have it anyway. Congratulations. I don't count here because I'm not a man. I suppose I could, based on the definition it gave, but nah. Alright, MTF. Male to female transgender men. One of my favorite gay things is when MLM kept being misread as multi-level marketing. So people kind of don't use it online as much anymore. Oh my god. I love that. Multi-level marketing. Oh my god. That's goofy. I have never had to keep track of so many powerful yet subjective terms and metrics in my life. Yeah, that's the thing. It seems really complicated and confusing until you realize that it doesn't really matter, and it's just down to what labels you want to use to describe yourself. Because the definitions are very not rigid, and that's the whole point. Because if they were, then it's no better than the people who think that people who are born with PPs are men and people who are born without PPs are women. Which is also wrong, and the reason it's wrong is because of how rigid it is. So ultimately, like, all of this is a very hard thing to define, and the definitions also don't matter. It's like a really big game of improv. Except it's not funny because most members of the League of Letters are in danger, and that's not great. But I won't touch on that further because I prefer to be a voice of positivity than negativity in general, even though I complain about things a lot. Alright, M to F. Male to female transgender person, often identifying as trans women. So you were AMAB, and now you are girl. Pog individuals. I ain't never met an M to F or an F to M that wasn't hot as fuck. Trans people hot as fuck. I don't know what flag all of them have. I don't know what country they're all from, but whatever country it is, like, keep it up, bruv. Like, y'all hot as hell. I don't know. I'm debating taking a shot for that because I do feel like I fit under the trans umbrella. Personally, I identify as trans. But at the same time, like, it's probably... Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, so that's coming up. So when we hit there, I'll take a shot then. Okay. I also have to take a shot now anyway, because the next term, non-binary. I went from man to girl thing. Fuck yeah. Love to hear it. Non-binary, an umbrella term describing anyone whose gender identity falls outside of the binary of woman, man, and also be used as an identity itself. I like to imagine that when it says can be used, it's like we're playing RuneScape and it's like a sword I can equip. So now, like, I'm wielding my gender to destroy my foes. Which, depending on some of the Twitter accounts you interact with or read, because I don't interact with them personally, but you'd really think that's how it works, because they very like to doom post about us. Like, oh, you exist? I am threatened. And maybe you should be, but I'm not saying that I'm threatening you. I don't know. I keep saying these things as if there's one jackass in the back that's like somehow still not with the program, that I'm non-binary. But like after 8 or 9 months of streaming now, I feel like nobody of that disposition would want anything to do with my channel. Like it's pretty obvious I'm gender TM. Anyway, I gotta take a shot for non-binary because it's like a crucial part of my branding. Oh god. I'm sitting down and I'm looking forward and I'm realizing my vision's not blurry. My head's working fine. I don't feel like I'm drunk. I know the moment I stand up, it's all gonna hit. I'm gonna be like, wow. And it's gonna be bad. Anyway, shot time. All right. Omnigender. Identifying as all genders. The term is specifically used to refute the concept of only 2 genders. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I occasionally joke about stealing genders and pee-pee poo-poo, like having all the genders of my enemy. But like, I don't personally identify with this, but at the same time I could see someone identifying as this. So I don't necessarily agree that it's only used as like a shit post to make fun of people who think there's only 2. But I don't know. I mean, if you consider yourself that, that's cool. And you're equally as valid as anything else on this list. So, I don't know. I'm just trying to be as inclusive as possible, I guess. I imagine most people don't consider themselves omnigender. Especially because if we're gonna stick to rigid definitions, it's kind of impossible on account of there are an infinite number of potential gender identities because everyone identifies a different way. So it's kind of like a paradox. I feel like you could hand the concept of omnigender to GLaDOS and she'd explode because of the paradox situation. If you haven't played Portal 2, first of all, what's wrong with you? Second of all, you probably don't get that joke. But I should really play the Portal 2 single player. I did the multiplayer with Nariko and it was a lot of fun, but the single player is like a classic. You've never played Portal 2 single player? Oh no, I have. I've done it many times. I just haven't done it on stream. I should do it on stream. I literally just made a joke from the game. What? It's the part where they're like, we have to stop Wheatley. Let's do it by saying paradoxes. And then the punchline is you tell him the paradox and he's like, I'm too stupid to understand this. Get fucked. It's actually, I think it's my second favorite joke from that game. It's my second favorite joke because my favorite joke is the one where you get off the elevator and it's a new chapter, and the chapter is the one where he kills you. And then GLaDOS is like, no, sorry, I think the next one is Wheatley is like, this is the one where I kill you. And then GLaDOS is like, I think this is the one where he kills you. And then you, after that line gets read, you get an achievement that says the one where he kills you. That's my favorite joke from Portal 2, but my second favorite is the paradox one, where he's too dumb to understand the paradoxes. Also, what's up, Jesty? Welcome, welcome. I know you drink sometimes, but if you can't, that's fine. But we are currently in the middle of a drinking game where we are going down a list of LGBTQA plus terms, and if any apply to you, you take a drink. So that's what we're doing right now. I would drink if I didn't work tomorrow. Yeah, that's valid. I do, but I work from home. So, like, I'll figure it out. Where were we anyway? Oh yeah, non-binary, because I don't just... No, we were on omnigender. Because I got off on my paradox tangent. Which I guess is good, because more stream time means more watch time, and more watch time means more ad revenue. Alright, pangender. Exhibiting characteristics of multi-genders, deliberately refuting the concept of only two genders. I think I'm gonna count this as a half shot for my own personal safety. But yeah. So I can see there's a difference between omnigender and pangender. Omnigender, by definition anyway, and again, as I said, definitions are very fluid in this realm by merit of what they are. Omni is every gender theoretically possible. Pangender is just more than one. So there is a difference. Pangender, I feel like, I mean, I definitely fit in. I know many other people that fit in. Some of them are in the chat. Yeah. So there you go. I'm still gonna say I'm not that, or I'm gonna hold a half shot for another one that I consider to be like a half. Mostly, I can't even lie to you, like I would take one if I didn't think that the moment I stand up, I'm gonna be like, oh shit, and then be on the floor. But it'd be like that. Pansexual. Oh god, I'm gonna have to take a shot, aren't I? Because I am this. A person who is emotionally, romantically, sexually, affectionately, or relationally attracted to people regardless of their gender identity or sex assigned at birth. Use of the term often signals a repudiation of the concept of binary sexes. That's not necessarily universally true. I see a lot of people conflate bi and pan, and I honestly think that's valid. The way it works in my brain is that like bisexual is like two different genders, and then pan is like more than that or any. But at the same time, for myself, I use bisexual and pansexual together because like I just like who I like, you know? Similarly to my gender, my sexuality is very I don't care as long as I like you. So I just tend to not put a label on it. You say like, okay, well here's like non-binary or like non-gender, but like saying non-sexual is wrong because I'm not non-sexual. I enjoy doing the do. So I don't know. I don't really think there's even a term for that. Or I guess technically it's pansexual, isn't it? I don't know. Shit's weird. Again, very does not matter. Yo, what's up, Joanna? Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well. You've come in the middle of a drinking game here. You're getting drunk burb tonight on a Thursday. Fucked up. But yeah, I don't know. Considering I lump bisexual and pansexual together, and I took a shot for bi, I'm just not gonna take a shot for pan. Don't cancel me over this. Over breaking the rules. It doesn't matter anyway, because polyamorous is up next, and I am that. Yeah. So polyamorous, a state of having more than one romantic relationship during a period of time, or referring to someone open to having multiple partners while not currently in multiple romantic relationships, may be shortened to poly. That is me. I've definitely talked about it before on stream, or at least like briefly touched on it. And then I know like Miyu has come in here and like shit posted about it before, so I mean, it's definitely not like a focus necessarily, and it's not super broadcasted, but like, yes, I am poly. Currently, I'm only in, as far as I know, and I was I was very like lightly making fun of Jesty earlier about this actually, but as far as I know, I'm only actually in one relationship right now with Miyu, who is married to her wife. So even she only really has 2 partners. But yeah, as far as I know, I only have one. I mean, it's not like I don't talk to people or anything. Like occasionally I'm like, oh, haha, you're cute, lamau. And as y'all know, I flirt with a lot of people. Like, I'm very open to being in other relationships, and it's not like I wouldn't. I'm just not actively seeking them out. Like, if I meet someone, and I have in the past where I've been like, oh yeah, you're pretty cool, and I like you, and you like me, and that's awesome. And then nothing really comes of it. Most of the time because they end up not being poly. And, you know, obviously I'm up front. I'm not gonna, like, start shit before like, they know the situation. So I'm always up front, like, hey, I'm poly. If you're not cool with that, I gotta stop this shit right now, because that ain't good. But I don't know, there've been stuff here and there where I'm like, oh, maybe this is a relationship, maybe it's not, and then it just kind of falls through. So yeah, only the one right now, but yeah, I consider myself poly. Sounds like a lot of your attention gets divided. That is a big issue with a lot of people in poly relationships. It's like a whole thing where it's like, oh, I have a lot of partners. How do I decide which partner to spend time with? And I don't know. I've heard of a lot of polyamorous relationships falling apart because it's sort of that situation and there's no communication. At the end of the day, though, while it is like harder, I would say, than a normal relationship, there's a lot of benefits to it too that maybe I'll talk about more. Hey, there's a video idea actually. I could interview poly people and be like, hey, this is how this works. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna write that down and do it. But anyway, what I was saying is, the thing, like the big thing with being poly and being in a relationship with multiple people, much like any romantic relationship, communication is incredibly important. And it turns out most people are really bad at communication. It's just like a natural human thing that people like don't obviously know what's going on in your head. So when we're communicating, we're going from our perspective and our experiences, and that doesn't always align with the other person and their perspective and their experiences. So it takes work. It takes a lot of communication and a lot of work, but At the end of it, I think it's worth it, personally. Although if you're not poly, I mean, you're not. Well, there you go. It's how you identify, it's what you're interested in. If it's not something you can do, if it's not something you want to do, you are equally valid. For me, I think it fits me pretty well because I like everyone. I think everyone is incredibly cute and cool. It's kind of a problem. That very waters down how I feel about it, but I don't have time to get into all that right now. I guess I technically do. I don't really have anything going on after the stream, but it's kind of a problem. Just at me next time, bruh. Valid, I guess. Yeah, the next time I have that exact thought, I'll just be at guest Burl. It's kind of a problem. And you'll be like, so that's what's happening. Anyway, I need to take a shot for that one because I talked about it and I didn't actually drink for it. Shoutouts to polyamory. Alright, shot is poured. Alright. So next up, queer. Term describing people who have a non-normative gender identity, sexual orientation, or sexual anatomy, and include lesbians, gay men, bisexual people, transgender people, and a host of other identities. The term has a history of offensive use as a slur, and it's still used that way in some spaces, but has largely been reclaimed by the community to describe themselves. While it's slightly different, I feel, it's functionally the same as LGBTQIA+. So I'm not gonna take a shot for it. And my relationship with the term is the same as I said earlier. You know, it's been historically used to harm people, so I try not to use it just in case. But I know, I mean, like it says in the definition, it's been reclaimed largely by the community. And that's really awesome. It's really awesome stuff. But, I don't know. It's basically a shorter version of a term we've already gone over, so I'm not going to count it for myself. If you'd like to take a drink, feel free. Nothing's been stopping you this entire time. But please be careful. I don't know how I'm doing it. It's probably a lot of luck when I'm being able to keep up with both of my partners somehow. Yeah, it is kind of rough. I would imagine the more you add, the rougher it gets too. Like, some people have like a lot of partners, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I feel like my max is like 3. I feel like I couldn't do more than 3 without there being a problem. However, I am going to date everyone who consents all at once, as I said in a tweet earlier. That's definitely feasible. I'm sure. It is my life mission. This is a joke, by the way. Obviously. But, yeah, I don't know. I feel like my limit is probably 3. I've actually put, like, decent amounts of thought into that. Like, hey, if I have 3, like, that's when I pull back the brakes. I'm like, you know, I like you, but no. I can't. It's not physically possible. I work 2 jobs. I am a burb on the internet, and I have a full-time job. I can't. I don't know. That situation has never come up. It probably won't, because I'm an awkward motherfucker, but hey, if it ever did, that's probably my boundary. Alright, moving on. Questioning refers to individuals who are in the process of examining their sexual orientation and or gender identity. I don't feel like I'm right there currently, but I mean, I do consider like my own identity to be like an evolving thing. So I don't know. I'm gonna say no for me, but I don't know. Romantic orientation, a way of characterizing one's attraction to other people, characterized by the expression or non-expression of love, romance, non-sexual interaction. People use a variety of labels to describe their romantic orientation, including aromantic, homoromantic, and heteroromantic, panromantic, and biromantic. So this is sort of touching on what I touched on earlier a couple times, where romantic attraction and sexual attraction are not necessarily the same thing, but it's more of like an explanation, I feel like, than an actual term. So again, I feel like this doesn't apply to me. It's okay to keep evolving. Currently queer and questioning. Woohoo, I'm in hell. Valid, honestly. Good luck. Same gender loving, SGL. Another one I've never seen. So today I learned another thing. How some African Americans prefer to describe their sexual orientation, seeing gay and lesbian as primarily white terms. Same-sex loving is also in use. Interesting. I never knew that. That's, I mean, it makes sense, I guess. It's kind of cool. I don't know. I've actually always found like Ave or African American vernacular English really interesting. I feel like it should have its own like language course in schools, at the very least in college, because it's very like unique. Like the concept of there being different dialects of English that are different. Like I feel the same thing about like Creole, or like the way they talk, if you're unfamiliar with the term Creole. Like the dialect of English that is used in like Guyana and a lot of like the Caribbean islands. That's another like dialect of English that I feel like is really underappreciated. It's really cool stuff. I'm black and I never understood that stance, and that's equally valid too, I would imagine. You know, I can't necessarily speak on that. I'm not black, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just an interesting thing that I've always like. I'll highlight it just so you can kind of get some of the context, but I'll explain it in a sec, Manga. I'm kind of on a tangent. I don't want to lose my train of thought. So I always found it fascinating just so there's like these different dialects of English, and actually like there's even some like Ave. Is that how people talk about it? AAVE? Where, I mean, I picked it up and put it in my vocabulary. So it's kind of just like a part of, I don't know, it's a dialect of English. I mean, that's what it is. It's not incorrect. There's no such thing as correct language, because much like the concept of gender, language is a very not fixed thing. If language was a fixed thing, motherfucker, we'd still be speaking unga bunga and communicating in fucking cave drawings. Like, it's cool as shit, and it deserves to be respected. I don't like, I won't explain this further. I know why people call it incorrect English, but it's not. It's just a different way of speaking, and it's not even that hard to understand. So I don't know. I find it cool. But anyway, I had never heard of SGL. I wonder how common it is. Mango's saying she hadn't either. I don't know, Sheepy, if you've seen it. And Drac is obviously saying, like, you know, they're not slurs. It shouldn't matter who uses them. So we have 3 people in the chat, it seems like, saying, like, I don't know, it's not that big of a thing. And clearly it's not if I've never heard of it. But I don't know. Just a cool tangent, because I actually really like Ave and Creole. So I don't know. Actually, I wonder if there's like Duolingo courses for them. I have been wanting to learn Creole because it's really cool. One of my favorite characters from Metal Gear Rising, which I'm playing on Saturday. There's a character in that game, George, that's from Guyana, and he speaks in Creole. And I don't know, like, I feel like it's not that big of a deal. And I've never heard anyone like complain about it, like, oh, Metal Gear Rising is a racist game. It's really not. It's actually like a very progressive anti-capitalist game, I feel like. But it does this weird thing where he speaks that way, and then they translate it into like quote-unquote proper English. And it's always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Because most of the time, what he is saying is almost one-to-one what, like, I don't know, standard, I guess, English would sound like and say there. But also, it's just a really, like, cool... It's just really cool. It's really cool the way languages evolve. It's just a weird thing that I'm interested in general. But enough about that. It's motherfucking Pride Month. Sex assigned at birth. Going back to AMAB and AFAB, this is just what the dumbass dipshit conforming to society doctors were like. You have a PP, you're man. You don't have a PP, you're woman. It's that. Everyone technically has one, but I'm again not gonna take another shot for it because I'm a lot of shots in, and it's a Thursday night. Sexuality, the complex range of components which make us sexual beings, includes emotional, physical, and sexual aspects, as well as self-identification, including sexual orientation and gender, behavioral preferences and practices, fantasies and feelings of affection and emotional affinity. How big must the clitoris be to be considered a penis? These are the real questions. Oh my fucking god. I just realized how much I've been saying this stream and how, like, heavily demonetized this stream is gonna get. Oh. Did that not show up for you, Mango? Every once in a while I'm reminded of this phenomenon in YouTube streaming. So there's a difference between top chat and live chat. So on stream, I have top chat because in case I get like raided by hateful bots or something, I don't want that showing up on stream. But if you flip it to live chat, you'll see everything, even the shit that YouTube filters out. So that's what I have up to read off of. And Drek just asked that question. So yeah, that wasn't something I came up with, but live chat is a whole new world. Hello. Yeah, it's revolutionary, isn't it? What was I saying? I forget. Oh yeah, that question. I don't know. It is a super interesting question, and it gets into intersex stuff, which I didn't touch on when we were at the intersex section of this document, but is also a really interesting, like, case study that almost, like, without a doubt proves that the concept of gender is fake as fuck. Because a PP is just an oversized clitoris, as Mango said. That's how, like, when you're in the womb, it grows from that. So, like, at what point do you go from being a quote-unquote man to a quote-unquote woman? And what you realize is that it doesn't matter. Technically, yes, as Mango said, there is a scientific answer, and the answer is where you pee from. But is that really the only thing that matters in terms of like what type of person you should be? And the answer objectively is no. So like, as much as I'll shout piss from the rooftops, because like, piss, it's not the defining factor in who you are or what labels you use for yourself. And to reduce yourself to that is not only dumb as shit and limiting as shit and boring as shit, it's also just bad. You know, if you're like, oh, well, I pee from my pee-pee, so I'm a man. I mean, you're free to that thought as long as you don't think that everyone else has to follow that rule. Just being clear there. Because no matter how many times I say that, people still won't understand that, like, it is okay to be cis and hetero. I'm just not. But, yeah, I don't know. Intersex is interesting. I wish they would stop doing the things they do to intersex people, though. But again, I prefer to be a force of positivity than negativity, so that is the most I'll say on that. Where are we? Sexual orientation. I took a shot for that, I think, maybe. If I didn't, I don't care. SGRM, an abbreviation for sexual, gender, and romantic minorities, used as an umbrella term rather than as an identity for a specific person, particularly in international contexts. Again, another one I've not heard of, but I mean, it makes sense. There's a lot of countries out there that are very, very bad. And again, this has been in the news lately for people who are not conforming to like your typical, this is what a man, this is what a woman is. So I guess having a term for that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, while we need to work on that, obviously there's still issues at home too, you know, you can't, you know, obviously it's harder to interfere in the situations of another part of the world. That's why history is the way it is in the first place. But I'm hopeful that that sort of thing will be over with by the time I'm done on this planet, you know, because the internet is making everyone more and more connected by the day, which is really awesome. And it's making a lot of people who normally would have just accepted that they're going to be discriminated against, that's helping them realize that, hey, actually there are other people like me and this is normal. And that's really cool. That's really cool. SOGI, S-O-G-I, an abbreviation for sexual orientation and gender identity. I mean, that is what it is. I'm not going to drink for that, but yeah, I have both of those. I, for one, I'm perfectly fine with my sex and gender. I'm cis, and that's it, really. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm going to make a bold claim. Maybe not a claim that everyone would agree with, but this is at least how I feel. Pride is for everyone. I feel like you can be equally as proud of being cis and hetero as long as that pride isn't like as long as the reason behind that isn't like for hateful purposes, you know, it's like there's a difference between I am proud of myself and the way I identify and the things I've achieved and the person I've become versus, hell yeah, brother. I'm proud of myself for being heterosexual and cisgender, unlike them homos over there. There's a very clear difference, right? And we all know the difference. So I'm gonna say pride is for everyone except for hateful motherfuckers. That's my stance. Solidarity versus commandeering. Yes, exactly. Alright, next one. Stealth. A description for people who, after beginning their transition and living as their preferred genders, do not readily tell others about their past, specifically their birth-assigned genders. Others may choose to be more or less open about their trans status. I mean, it's like taking pride in breathing. I mean, I would argue you should take pride in breathing because living in this hellscape and living to see another day is pretty pog. Yeah, so stealth. That's sort of what I do with my family. I don't know if I want to take a shot for that, actually. I'm kind of considering it because I kind of want one. I kind of want to drink more. But yeah, that's like when you're trans or like gender non-conforming and you don't want people to know. So you either like try your hardest to quote unquote pass, which is a term I'm surprised wasn't in here, but or you hide the fact that you're a different gender to begin with. And on account of the fact I do that with like 10% of the people in my life, like pretty much only work and family, I'm gonna go ahead and take a shot. It's been a little bit anyway, because I've been rambling. Been a little bit. To be fair, passing is more of a cultural thing to an identity than an identity itself. Oh yeah, exactly. But this isn't a list of exclusively like identities. This has a lot of definitions that are relevant. I'm not consciously in control of it, thus it isn't an achievement. Yeah, I don't know. I can see both sides. I mean, I know some people that would be like, oh yeah, no, being cishet is not part of pride. But frankly, I think everyone's welcome to take part in pride as long as you're not hateful towards anyone else who takes part in pride. That's the qualification for me anyway. Yep, so oh yeah, I need to take my shot before we do the next one. Oh shit, I almost forgot. Maybe I shouldn't. Alright. Third gender. Another new one to me. A term for those who belong to a gender category not recognized in the Western binary. For example, Native American Two-Spirit people, Hijra in India, Cathaways in Thailand, and Travestis in Brazil. Recognizes that people's identities are specific to their culture. Well, this is a concept I'm very aware of, that like gender is different in different cultures, and therefore the way people identify in different cultures is going to be different. Like, you know, obviously I'm from the West. I landed in America when I hit that fucking meteor, so everything I know is defined by my experience of growing up in America. There are a lot of other countries that I imagine have different concepts of gender roles and therefore different concepts of gender labels. Clearly. And it's a cool thing. And honestly, it's a thing that I've never really looked too deeply into, but it would be super interesting to learn about. I don't know. Just cool stuff. It's weird that we call it like third gender. It's kind of a weird term for it, but I guess there has to be one. But it is interesting too, right? Because a lot of people that are jackasses like to claim like, yeah, these transgender folks didn't exist back in my day. They didn't exist in the history books. This is just a new fad. This is a phase. Yeah. I thought travesti was just a reclaimed slur used against trans people here. Oh yeah, you are Brazilian. That's interesting because I've never heard of that. That's neat. I don't know. I would love your perspective if you want to give it, but I don't know. It sounds like you know about as much as I do, which is really interesting to me. I guess Brazil is pretty big too, though, so it kind of makes sense. Anyway, as I was saying, there's been a lot of like trans people through history, and even gay people through history. Like, I'm not going to talk about the Bible, but I'm qualified to at least say, and this one should be common sense to anyone with a brain, but hypothetically, which, and I will be clear, this statement is not true, but if we're to assume that the Bible says being gay is bad, that means that there had to be people that were gay before 0 AD, before Jesus died. There were gay people. So by that fact alone, and we could extend that further to say if the Bible says that trans people are bad, that there were trans people, because that's obvious. There have been LGBTQIA plus motherfuckers since the beginning of time. So your argument there simply doesn't stand. But also there have been matriarchal societies. There have been societies that were okay with gay people. Greece, widely considered to be a Western country, was cool with it. And even trans people. There's some evidence that trans people existed in Greece. I'm back. Yo, welcome back, Kimberly. What's poppin'? But anyway, despite the Bible saying nothing to that effect, outside of parts of the Bible that Christian lore says that don't count, maybe I'll do a stream on that. Maybe that would be fun, but probably not, because I don't like being in controversy. The point is that gay and trans and otherwise, people have existed basically since the birth of humanity. Since we evolved from monkey. So, like, I don't know. The point is that plenty of different cultures have had plenty of different, like, terms for it. And therefore, it makes sense that there would be a lot of different terms for a lot of different labels. And again, since the whole thing is identify how you want, the label you choose to use for that, if you so choose to use a label, is your own choice at the end of the day. And I, nor anyone else, can say anything about that. So yet another soapbox from the burb. Transgender. An umbrella term for those individuals whose gender identity does not match with that assigned for their physical sex. Among others, the term transgender includes those who identify as transsexual, non-binary, genderqueer, or simply just transgender. In its general sense, it refers to anyone whose behavior or identity falls outside of the stereotypical expectations for their sex assigned at birth. Transgender people may identify as straight, gay, bisexual, or any other sexual orientation, sometimes shortened as trans or trans star, and then a link for more information. It's interesting that it specifically includes non-binary here. I've had a lot of people, trans or otherwise, when like me, after having like made it known that I'm non-binary, refer to myself as trans, and they're like, huh? I thought you were non-binary. And it's an interesting thing that people consider it separate. Because, like, to me, as I've alluded to this entire stream, I consider, like, being non-binary and presenting that way to be, like, a gender identity in and of itself. So, like, trans to me means I was a gender and I chose, like, I was assigned a gender at birth and I chose to be a different gender. That to me is trans. Whether it means I'm M to F, F to M, M to non-binary, F to non-binary, whatever other have you, to me that's trans. But to other people that does specifically mean female to male, male to female. And again, as long as you're not rigid in that, and you respect the way other people identify, that's equally valid. So, I don't know. I count myself as this, so I'm gonna take a drink. But you don't have to. Trans being Western male to male female as a scale is a very classical thing. Yeah, I think the tide has been changing on that too. There was probably a time where people would have been like, oh, trans and non-binary are two different things and I'm gonna make a stink about it. But a lot of that kind of thing. And interestingly, the same thing, I remember specifically like bi-lesbians is the thing that there was a big argument over. I don't know exactly where it ended. But personally, I didn't care because I didn't identify that way anyway. And at the end of the day, it's like, there's no reason to hate people over anything, you know? So like, no matter how ridiculous you think it is, if it makes someone happy, let them be happy, you know? And I'm sure it still pops up from time to time. Mango, you're saying like, I don't think it ever ended. You're probably right. I mean, I'm sure people still get pissed off about it, but I almost feel like if you're like, if you have like these vitriolic, angry reactions to people, you're probably using that as a mask to be a hateful person in general. So you should probably stop. But at the same time, I don't claim to know the objective answer, because one, there probably isn't one, and two, I'm not a lesbian or a bi-lesbian, or at least I certainly don't consider myself as either of those. So it's like, I don't know, just don't hate people. It's not like one person identifying a certain way makes your identity any less valid. And I think that's the thing that people don't understand. Yo, what's up, Vess? Welcome, welcome. You've joined us towards the end of a drinking game, so you're experiencing drunk burb talking about being gay right now. Anyway, all of that to say, no matter what side of the line you're on in terms of that sort of thing, it never benefits anyone to be hateful about it. So even though I've already said that many, many times, it bears repeating because I think some people just don't understand that. The exception is when someone is so hateful that they're irredeemable. Then you're free to hate them because they are actively encroaching on your right to be yourself. But accepting that, just don't hate anyone, please. Anyway, I'm gonna take this shot that I poured out. All right. transition. An individualized process by which transgender people move from living as one gender to living as another gender. There are 3 general aspects to transitioning: social, medical, and legal. They have some examples here: social, name pronouns; medical, hormone surgery; and legal, gender marker and name change. Each path through transition is unique to the individual, and some may choose not to transition socially, medically, and or legally due to access barriers or other personal reasons. I have some interesting personal experience on this. So I personally am only, like, I've only socially transitioned, and I think that's where I'll stay probably for my entire life. I've considered legal transition, but I really don't feel like I would feel that much better, because that's already just like, oh, look at me, I have paperwork. Not to mention keeping my government identity that was assigned at birth makes it a lot easier to continue like my human job career, which is important to me because it funds my ability to even do this in the first place. So I don't plan on doing that because it would kind of just shoot everything I'm doing in the foot. So I guess you would call that like an access barrier in a sense. But yeah. And then, as I said earlier, I have no interest in transitioning medically. 1, because I like my voice as it is right now. And 2, I just feel like the benefits I would get for like doing hormones to appear, I don't know, more quote unquote androgynous wouldn't really benefit me that much in terms of my own personal image, as well as the way people perceive me. So yeah, I really wouldn't consider this as applying to me, because I'm already where I want to be. I'm not really transitioning. But hey, if you are, you may drink. You may drink anyway if you want to drink. I am not the boss of you. However, you may. You have my permission if it matters to you for some reason. Transsexual. Historical term referring to a person whose gender identity consistently differs from what is culturally associated with their sex assigned at birth. Often refers to those who physically change their body so that it matches their gender identity. Many trans people do not identify with it, as it is largely outdated and inaccurately conflates the nature of trans identity with the obligation to undergo sex reassignment surgery. I agree with this. I agree with that statement. I think that, like, well, I partially agree. Because let me be clear. For a lot of people, medically transitioning and getting gender affirming surgery is really important as a part of like as a milestone for I really am the person that I say I am. And it's really cool and it's really awesome again that we live in a time where that's possible. At the same time, again, people are like, these trans people, yeehaw, are they're okay, I'm JFK from Clone High now. I don't care. They're ignoring biology. They're ignoring high school health class, which I think is fundamentally wrong. I mean, it's like, yes, objectively, men will, like, let's assigned male at birth, AMABs. That's the term. We're gonna use AMABs. It's always a weird thing to talk about because I almost feel like I have to use the same language as the people who actually like believe these things to like be on their level, but I really don't right now. So like AMABs obviously have more testosterone than they do estrogen in most cases. That's not true across the board. But it's like pretty often true. And the same thing is true for AFABs. And I don't think anyone is really denying that. But on the flip side, science, and I mean science like real science, like we have replicated this study hundreds of times, tells us that as you transition, that changes. So we're not ignoring biology. We have just reached a point where we have the technology to allow a person who was born AMAB with more testosterone than estrogen to change that. So that functionally, for all intents and purposes, you are biologically, and I hate that term because of the way it's always used, but biologically, what you say you are. And that's really cool. I don't remember what the point of this rant is. But basically the people that disagree with me are dumb as shit. That's what I'm going for. At least with this. If you disagree with me about something that's like reasonable, then sure. But if you come up to me and you're like, actually no, transgender bad, you're wrong. Anyway, transphobia, again, nobody better drink for this, because you better not be a transphobe. Fear of, hatred of, or discomfort with people who are transgender or otherwise gender non-normative. So basically, you could replace transphobia with dumbass and be correct. Two-Spirit. Now, I actually read through this one when I was, oh Jesus. I kind of want to watch that actually, but no. Oh yeah, reminder to buy me sharks, by the way. I'll go back over the let me get back to the article I was on. I'll go back over the announcements again real quick before I do. Bruh. Yo, Guest Burl bought $6.90 worth of Ezra points, so let me read that one before anything. But yeah, let me get back to the article after that, because I fucking clicked on a link like a dumbass. Trans rights? Fuck yeah. God, I love trans rights. Was it this one? Yeah, it was this one. No, it wasn't this one. It was below this one. This one? Yeah, it's this one. Fucking... No, it's not this one. What the fuck? It was an EDU. You're right. Oh, it's this one. Okay. No, it wasn't this one. It was an EDU though. It was this one. It was John Hopkins. Okay. We're down here. I accidentally clicked on the video, but Two-Spirit. When I was looking for the articles, I actually saw this one. I saw someone on Twitter earlier that was Two-Spirit, and I actually was kind of curious about it. John Hopkins, is that a bad school? I don't actually know anything about them. I just saw this list and I'm like, you know, some of it may be wrong, obviously, and we'll be able to discuss it, but it at least gives us like a pretty concise list of things we can drink about. Contentious history with trans stuff, not sure how it is now. I don't know. Perb. Yo, what's up, Death Annihilator? Welcome, welcome. Anyway, I saw someone who identified as Two-Spirit earlier, and I sort of had an understanding, but I wasn't like super clear on it. And I'm still not. I certainly would never call myself an expert on that because I'm not native, as far as I know. But it is interesting that it's included here. So, contemporary term chosen to describe North American Indigenous and Canadian First Nation people who identify with the third gender. So we're going back to what I was talking about with different cultures having different concepts of what a gender is in the first place. Implying a masculine and a feminine spirit in one body. Replaces the problematic term. I'm not gonna read it just because I don't know the history of it. For more information, watch the video that I clicked on. But it is interesting, right? Because, like, I know there's the concept of spirit animals that's kinda been appropriated, I think. But it's a thing I don't know a lot about. And that's because, obviously, as I said, I landed in America when I hit the big space rock. And I don't really know much about the culture. You know, obviously I learned about some of the things that America did to the, well, I say America, the colonizers did to the native peoples in this landmass. And it wasn't good. It was very bad. Let's be clear. But obviously it didn't teach us very much about like the individual cultures. So it's not only like very cool and interesting, but it's almost very affirming that that culture has or has come up with its own concept of gender and gender identity. So I do think that's really cool. So I remember seeing it on here when I was scrolling through and I'm like, that's fucking awesome. And I wish I knew more about it. So I'm probably gonna look into more about it because I do want to learn about this stuff. And then finally we have WSW, an abbreviation for women who have sex with women, kind of like MSM earlier. This term emphasizes the behavior rather than the identities of individuals involved. Again, despite the copious amounts of sex that I have, obviously, because I'm cool as fuck, I don't identify with this either. So I'm not gonna drink for it, but you may. It's up to you. And that's the bottom of the list. So we made it through, gamers. If you've been drinking with me from the beginning, props to you. I know that the moment I stand up, I'm probably gonna like fall over because of how drunk I am. I've had like, what did I have? 13 shots? I don't know, I stopped counting after a certain point. But that was fun. It killed like, I don't know, we did the announcements for like 40 minutes and then, so like almost 2 hours. That's cool. I feel like we talked about a lot of insightful stuff. I'm certainly not the most qualified to talk about any of this, but I don't know. It's cool to have an open discussion. And again, I'm always very happy that like I have a very diverse set of people that watch my stuff and that enjoy watching Burb and hearing what I have to say. And then, you know, when I say something that might be wrong or I say something that merits discussion, you know, I'm always happy to have that discussion. Again, if anyone disagrees with anything I said or I made anyone angry, please talk to me about it. I'm super happy to learn. I don't proclaim to be an expert on anything ever. So I don't know. I feel like I didn't say anything super controversial, but just covering my bases, because I know people do have some strong opinions on certain identities and what they mean. And, you know, again, I'm very open to learning. I'm very not an expert, as I said, but it's hard to be an expert on a thing that's such, like, I don't know, I guess I would say subjective. But yeah, either way, I thought it'd be fun to sort of like go through here and do like a sort of gimmicky thing and go over some stuff. This is the most comprehensive. We could have gone for hours and hours with like a full list, the full Webster Merriam dictionary of terms that relate to LGBTQIA+, but I don't know, I had fun. I actually learned some things from this. Yeah, I don't know. Reading more on it, travesty is a non-binary identity of AMAB people that identify as feminine but not as women. Very interesting. No, it's cool. Again, it's almost validating that these different cultures have different terms that convey similar things to what the West has in terms of different identities and labels and sexualities and genders. It's almost proof that it's not just a quote-unquote phase like a lot of people like to say. But anyway, yeah, that's it for me pretty much. That's what I wanted to go through. I'll go through the announcements again in a moment, because I know a lot of people are here that weren't here for the beginning of the stream, and I want to make sure people know about this stuff and things. But yeah, first day of Pride Month. Be proud of who you are, please. If nothing else, know that this is a community that loves and cares about you. And if anyone in the community ever indicates or does anything that says otherwise, please let me know, because I want this to be a very inclusive space for everyone. And I'm very glad that y'all have been so I don't know, supportive of me being who I am. It is a big deal to me. Yeah, so happy Pride Month. But anyway, the announcements again, I'll go in order. So the first one is, and you'll see it pinned, and let me put it in the chat one more time. I did open my throne back up. The last time it was open was Christmas. I put, and let me put it on screen, I put shark plushies, I put blahages on my throne here. Let me actually refresh, see if it's changed any. Yeah, okay, so we have one big IKEA full-size blahage and then 999 small ones. I'm obviously not expecting all of this to be ordered, but I just thought it was funny because it's like, hey, don't talk to me or my transgender daughters and sons and otherwise ever again. And also just the concept of 1,000 blahages on my throne is really funny. What are you gonna do if you get all 1,000 of them? I don't know. We'll figure it out if it happens. If y'all make it happen, I think I'll actually like cry live on stream. But yeah, so I opened this back up. You can get to it by doing !throne, and the link is right there. You also see at the top there is a promo code because I logged back in after forever, and they're like, hey, here's a promo code so that you use us and we make money. Haha. So do that if you want 10% off. But half of the money that goes towards this, so each individual small blahage is $8. We'll round up because it's not a big deal. So every like $8, that's $4 that I'm going to donate to the Trevor Project, which, if you don't know, is a very pro LGBTQIA plus charity that does a lot of good for us, for people like me and people like you probably. It's a good charity, and that is, let me drag the tab over here. Hold up. It's not open yet that I know of, and maybe it will be in the future. Oh, I can't. Never mind, because of the way I have this set up. Anyway, I'll announce it when it goes live, but there's going to be a Tiltify link for all of RealCorp, and I imagine most, if not all, of the talents are going to be promoting it, so it's not just a me thing. But there is a Tiltify that's going up. All the proceeds that Tiltify is going to go to Trevor Project. And for the half of the throne proceeds that I get are also going towards that. And that is going towards an ongoing set of incentives that I have not figured out yet, but I'm going to before the weekend. Hopefully. On the 24th of June, I'm going to be doing a 24-hour Donathon live stream where I will do all of the incentives. It'll obviously, the more money we get, the more embarrassing things I'll have to do, the more things you might want are going to be. But it's easy to remember, June 24th, 24-hour stream. The more donations you get, the more bullshit I'm going to have to do. And you know it's going towards a good cause. So we're opening that up. I'm actually debating even closing my Stream Elements donations for the time being, because frankly, helping worse off LGBTQIA plus individuals is far more important to me than me getting a little bit of extra income to spend on games I want to stream or whatever. But all that money goes towards those incentives. 24-hour stream. It's going to be a lot of fun. Put it on your calendar. And the last thing is going to be, and I've talked a little bit about it here and there. I've given some like anecdotal stuff about me, but I'm planning on doing a video in the next couple weeks because I'm going to be gone the second half of next week, and then another week after that. Unfortunately, I got roped into some Burb family stuff that I can't get out of, so, you know, as much as I'd like to stream, I'm not going to be able to. But during that, I'm planning on doing some content, and one piece of content is going to be, I'm planning on making a video where I talk about my gender identity and how I came to realize my gender identity and just sort of, you know, my journey through all of that. Because I hope, you know, it'll definitely help me to put it in writing, and it, you know, it may help me others to, you know, maybe realize, hey, this isn't just a me thing. This is a thing that other people have experienced, and I'm perfectly valid. And I just think it'll be a good thing to like make, and it fits with the theme of Pride Month, so that's going to be coming out too. But that's everything I announced at the beginning of the stream, doing the same thing at the end. I'll probably make like a more official like Twitter, YouTube community post tomorrow morning at prime hours so more people get their eyes on it. But that's what's happening. So look out for some more information on that. There'll obviously be a comment and a pinned thing and a command in my chat. Please buy me trans sharks. I love Blahaj a lot. And yeah, that's everything again. So we started with announcements, ended with the same announcements, and overall, I don't know, I had fun with the stream. I hope y'all did too. Seems like you did. A lot of people have been sticking around since the beginning. Not that I'm super numbers focused, but I mean, the way I have chat open, it kind of shows me anyway, so it's hard not to see these sorts of things. A lot of y'all have stuck around from the beginning. I really appreciate you, and I hope you had fun. Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably do another one of these when I get back from my other trip, because even though I don't necessarily want to go on the burb vacation, I won't say where yet, just to keep y'all in suspense for when I come back and talk about the things I've did in the past couple of burbcations. I am pretty excited for the actual place we're going and the things we're doing, so I'm gonna have a lot of stuff to talk about when I get back. After I'm leaving on the 8th. I don't think I'll have a chance to stream on the 7th, but I might try to do like an hour stream or so, just so I've done something. But yeah, and I'll probably try to post pictures too where I don't have anyone in them, so as to not dox myself, because really I am super excited. It's not so much where I'm going and what I'm doing as it is like the people I'm going with, which, you know, I'm sure at least some of you can relate to, but I don't know, that's personal matters, that's burb fam stuff. I don't fucking know. Don't want to break immersion too much, you know. But in any event, that is my stream for today. I do want to do more just chatting streams in general, because I feel like my general disposition and my ability to talk about things and, I don't know, provide content is probably a little better, because I'm not really focusing on a game. I'm just kind of sitting here doing things. Speaking of just sitting here, I'm gonna go over here. I don't know. I want to do more of these. They do well. I enjoy doing them. I just don't think to do them most of the time because I like playing video games. They're fun. But yeah, hopefully I'll remember that when I get back. I'll be like, oh yeah, I should do like a weekly just chatting. What is today? Thursday? Yeah, today's Thursday. That's why I'm drinking, because I don't have to go into the office tomorrow. The burb office. I don't know, I'll decide a day for him. I'm thinking Tuesdays, actually. Because Tuesday is usually, if nothing else is different, Tuesday is always the day that I have no clue what to do with. So probably Tuesdays I'll do just chatting. I haven't like come up with a clever name or anything, like just chatting Tuesdays. I don't fucking know. Probably doesn't matter, but that'll probably be the day for it, because I want to do it as part of like my recommended, hey, these things do well for growth and viewership and money, and I do want to make money for RealCorp, obviously, like I've talked about in the past. But at this point I'm just rambling. This is like behind the scenes things. I do want to do more of these. Anyway, all that being said, that's my stream. Thank you for being cool. Happy fucking Pride Month. Buy me some motherfucking sharks. It'll go towards a good cause. And I'll get a shark out of it. Let me find someone to rate. Is Cora still alive? I hope Cora's still alive. I want to hear her sing. Cora's alive! Yeah, baby! Yeah, baby! Alright, go listen to Cora sing. Am I streaming tomorrow? Not on my schedule. I think I actually want to do a members only tomorrow, though. I want to do a karaoke practice because I've actually been having a lot of fun with those despite my anxiety. I really enjoy like the feeling of improvement I've been getting. Like I am a good ass singer now. Like fucking, I don't know, what can I sing? I'm not singing right now. I'm too drunk. But yeah, I think I'm gonna try to do one of those tomorrow, and then afterwards I think I'm gonna play DJ Max Or Limbus Company. I think I might actually do Limbus Company. Because the new story released and I wanna play it. I wanna experience it. So at the very least, we're almost definitely doing Limbus Company tomorrow. But there might be a new... well, not... I guess it will be new. Every stream you do is new, technically. Unless you're streaming, like, a recording of your VOD. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe a members-only karaoke practice. Almost definitely a Limbus Company stream. And then probably if I'm gonna do DJ Max, it'll be on Sunday. But yeah. Anyway, that's it. Don't forget to buy sharks for the burb. If you can afford it, please don't go bankrupt over it, but I like shark. I like the trans shark. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out and listening to me rant about stuff and things and putting up with my motherfucking drunk ass. Because I'm sure I'm way more drunk than I actually realize consciously right now. And... Wait, Vess, you're still here. I guess I could just look it up on the internet, but you probably know. Because you're a Katamari boy. Is the new Katamari remake out yet? Not yet, I think. Hold on. Let's just find out. Item is not available to download. Oh shit. Wait. Tomorrow. I don't know where it is in this article. I was gonna highlight it to make it more obvious. There it is. Wait, what am I streaming on Saturday? Metal Gear Rising. Wait. Tomorrow's Friday. So I did Katamari Reroll as a drinking stream where every time the king talked, I had to take a drink, and every time I failed a stage, I had to take a shot. And I was gonna do that with this game. Maybe I do that tomorrow and Limbus on Sunday. But then when do I do DJ Max? Right now? Do I do DJ Max right now? Anyway, that's in the cards. So at some point there's gonna be a Katamari drinking stream. It might be tomorrow. It might be Sunday. It might be well off into the future. But it's happening. That popped into my head too. But yeah, buy me sharks. Anyway, I'm probably gonna go to bed. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm about to go to bed and pass out. I'm fucking drinky, dude. But yeah, thank y'all for watching. Go watch Cora. Enjoy her singing. She is a fucking god tier singer. She's actually cracked. And yeah, I will see y'all when I see y'all. Happy motherfucking Pride Month. And yeah. All right. vtuberb. Bye-bye.